everybody, Kay here, and today I'm back to give a tutorial on how I went about making this advent calendar. This was a first for me. I had seen a couple of pictures of it on Pinterest, and I had never ever done an advent calendar. And every year I see all these different kinds of advent calendars that come out, and I've never done one. So this year I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try doing an advent calendar. And I saw a couple of calendars in this style on Pinterest, and I said, you know what, I can do that. Let me try that. And this is the end result, and I'm pretty happy. I like how it turned out. So this is it right here. Let me see, it measures 11 inches. Yep, 11 inches high by 8.5 inches wide. And it has a 3 inch spine. I thought it was 2 3/4, but it's actually 3 inches. A 3-inch spine. And this is the front. And oh, and before I forget, I used a combination of collections to make this one. The first one that I used was the Nostalgia collection by Authentique, which is this one. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of nice Christmas images, and it also has a lot of pet images, so you can actually do a pet themed Christmas projects, but I actually kept all the Christmas images out of this project, so it's versatile. You don't have to use it for pets, so I used it for a non-pet project. And I also included a couple of elements from the Jingle collection. I don't have all the papers to show here from Jingle, but this is the cut-aparts, or the stickers, are from the Jingle collection. And as you can see, this is the sticker that I used in the front cover right here. So I used a couple of papers and elements from Jingle, and I used as well papers and elements from the Nostalgia collection. So here's the spine. This is how I decorated the spine. I just punched a hole here, and I just put through a bunch of Christmas themed ribbon and a couple of little bells. Here's the top view, and here's the side view. It's held together or closed with a red organza ribbon. Here's the back, and here's the bottom. So you open it up this way, and it opens up like this. And there you have it. And you have a bunch of 24 little boxes. They measure about 2 1/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 of an inch. And they can hold little treats inside. So I had tucked a couple of Halloween leftover candy that I still have, and they fit perfectly in there. So I had one here, and I think I had a Reese's in here. Yeah, here it is. So you can tuck little treats, candies, or whatever it is that you can put in your little boxes. And the best part of this is that it does stand. So you can display it anywhere, on a shelf, on a table, on your desk, anywhere you want throughout the month of December. With all the and that's it. So hang in there if you're interested in seeing how I went about creating this advent calendar. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make the boxes that I used for my advent calendar. That would be these little boxes right here. They measure 2 1/8 of an inch square by 1 inch deep. And to me, they were just the right size for the advent calendar. Now, I did follow a tutorial on YouTube on how to make these kinds of boxes, and I will post the original video in the description box below, but I completely altered the measurements in order to make these boxes. First of all, the box that they made was a lot bigger, and I needed these to be tiny, at least to be, at least 2 by 2, somewhere around there is where I wanted them. And the other difference is that they used origami paper to make the boxes. So I believe origami paper is a lot more thinner. So they had both the bottom of the box and the lid of the box the same size. And they were able to easily open and close it. Well, when I tried it with the designer paper from Authentique, the paper's a lot thicker, that wasn't working. I couldn't get the the lid onto the bottom of the box. It just wouldn't fit because they were the same size. So I had to play around a little bit with the sizes. So for each box, you're gonna need what's gonna be the bottom of your box and what's gonna be your lid. So 2 pieces of paper in order to make 1 box. So in order to get a 2-inch or approximately a 2-inch size box, you need the bottom to measure 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then the lid is 6 inches by 6 inches. Now, the good thing about this tutorial or this technique of making this kind of box is that you can make the boxes really any size you want if you are looking for square boxes, because that's really the key here. Whatever pieces of paper you use have to be perfectly squared. And in order to make the lid easily slide in and off from the bottom of the box, you know, smoothly, just make the bottom of the box 1/4 of an inch smaller from your lid, and it works like a charm. So let's get started, and it's all folding. That's what I really liked about making these boxes. It's really a lot of folding, very little glue, and hardly any cutting. So let's start with the bottom of the box. So you're gonna, first step, fold it in half. Burnish. Open it up, fold it in half the other way. Burnish. Open it up. Then what you're going to do, you're going to bring this corner right up to the center. Not over it, just right up to it. And you burnish. And you're going to do the same thing to all the corners. Then you're going to go to the next one and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to bring it up to the middle right there, not over. And if you have a perfectly sized square, and you know, if you put some pretty accurate folding, you'll have all the corners pretty much match up. Now that's the other thing I like about this technique. It is a very forgiving technique. I'll admit that I wasn't perfectly squared, or I didn't fold every lid and bottom perfectly, and yet I was still able to create a box that worked exactly how I needed it to work, which is just to be able to have a little box that I can open and close and I can hold something inside. So you're going to go all the way around. And for every fold, you're going to burnish. So that's what you're going to end up with. Now with the same size facing up, then you're going to take the bottom piece, fold it to the middle. So make sure that this goes right where the middle is, right where the little tip of the middle is. So you're going to go right up to there. And you're going to fold. And then you're going to burnish, flip it around and do the same thing. Make sure they meet up in the middle and burnish. So you'll end up with something like this now. See? So that's how it was. I folded it right to the middle, and then I just did the opposite side the same way. Once you do that, you're going to open it back up, and then you're going to turn it and do the same thing for the side that you didn't do on. So the opposite sides. And you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to take bottom, go all the way up to the middle, right up to the middle, fold, turn it around and do the same thing. And fold. And that's it. That's all the folding you do. Then you open it back up. Now what you do is you take it, grab your scissors, and this can happen, you can hold it either way. You see these little little triangles that stick up. Pick a side. You want some side to be the top, some side to be the bottom. So you can hold it this way or you can hold it this way, whatever's more comfortable. All that matters is that you pick two opposite sides. So I'm gonna go this way. So this is gonna be my top, this is gonna be my bottom. So wherever my top and bottom is, I'm going to cut right here, right along the folds. So wherever I fold it, that's your guide. So you're gonna go right there. I have to hold it a certain angle so I could see it in the light because it's a white cardstock. And you're gonna cut right up to there only. Right up to the fold. And you're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. You're gonna cut right along the fold. Right up to there only. Right up to this other fold right here. So you're only gonna go up. And then on the opposite side, you do the same. So basically you flip it around and you do the same thing at the bottom. And on the other side. And that's it. That's all the cutting you have to do. Once you do that, so this is the sides that you cut right here, right? This was your top, this is your bottom. You're gonna open this up. Well, let's start with the bottom first. It's easier. So, pull this out. Tuck these inward. Like that. And then this triangle piece right here that you pulled out, it's gonna go wrap around, it's gonna wrap over these two pieces that you just put together. So you put these two pieces together and then this is gonna go right over that. And it's gonna tuck right in there. Just like that. See that? You already got half your box made. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Flip it, pull the triangle piece out, tuck these two ends in to form your box, and then this wraps over and tucks in. And there's your box. Nice and easy. So that's the bottom of your box. Now the lid, same thing, same exact folds. The only trick to the lid is whichever side you want to show, start your folds on the opposite side. So for this box, this is the design that I want showing on my lid. So since this is the design that I want showing on my lid, I'm gonna start this way. I'm gonna flip it around, and this is how I'm gonna start doing all my folds in order to have this design on the outside of my box. So I'm gonna put this on faster speed just so you could see the same folds again, but it's the same steps. And the only trick to the lid, like I said, is whichever design you want showing, flip it. All right, make sure that's on the bottom side and you start with the design that you don't want showing. That's how you start folding. All right, so let's get started with the lid. Okay, and there you have it. You have your bottom and top of the box. And then the last thing I do is that I do add a little adhesive to the little triangles in the bottom, just so that they stick and they don't open up and come undone. So all I do is I pop out the little triangles again, and then I just put a little bit of glue right here on the ends, like that, and then I tuck it back in and make sure it sticks. And then I do the same thing on the opposite side. If I can get it out, there we go. And I only do it on two sides. I don't do it all the way around the box. Once you do the top layer, the bottom ones stay put. And there you go. See? So I already adhered this one, so the bottom is done. And I do the same thing to the Okay, there you go. And then just slide it right over. Okay. And then you could slide it off pretty easily. See? It doesn't really stick. Comes right on and off, real easy. And that's it. That's how you create the little boxes for the advent calendar. So I'm going to give you the measurements that I used to create the covers for my advent calendar. So what I used are 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 heavyweight chipboard for the covers. So the good thing about this project is that you didn't really have to cut the chipboard. If you can find heavyweight chipboard or even medium weight chipboard will work, that is 8.5 by 11, you're done. No cutting necessary. So that's what this is. And then in my stash, I already had a piece of black, also heavyweight chipboard that measured 2 3/4 by 11. And that also turned out to be the perfect size that I needed for the spine. So the spine, again, 2 3/4 by 11, and then 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 chipboard. At this step of creating the calendar, I'm at the point where I'm going to be wrapping the covers and the spine in designer paper. So I already picked out what's going to be on my back cover, and this is going to be my front cover, and this is going to be part of my spine. So I'm going to do this off camera, but all I'm doing is I'm just going to wrap the paper on one side with the designer. Wrap the chipboard in my designer paper. So in order to do that, I usually cut my designer paper to be 1 inch bigger to what I'm wrapping. So if this is 8.5 by 11, the paper that I'm using to wrap it in is 9.5 by 12. And the reason I do that is because I then only score it. Let me backtrack a little. So it's 9.5 by 12, and then I score it only on the top and on one side 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there, and that's what I use as my guide. So I'm gonna just lightly score it where I have already had the marks made. And when I go to wrap it, I'm gonna put on my adhesive here, and then I'm gonna use the already scored parts as my guide. So then I'm just gonna place my chipboard against the corners there and place all my adhesive on the edges, and then I'm gonna score the rest of it all around, and it will have a 1/2 inch coverage along all the sides. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like when I wrap it, and then that's gonna be the back cover. And then I'm gonna follow the same procedure for the back cover and the spine. So the spine, as you can see, spine measures 2 3/4 by 11. So my designer paper measures 12 inches by 3 3/4. And I'll be wrapping that the same way. I already scored it on one side and then on the top. And then I'm just gonna put some adhesive on it and wrap it. I'm not gonna show that how I wrap it in the video, because there are a ton of videos out there that show how you can wrap covers with designer paper. If you're interested though, just reach out to me and I could send you a couple of links, or maybe I'll dig for a couple and put them in the description box below that shows, you know, how you can just wrap paper around. So, you know, you have to miter your edges, and then usually you use double-sided tape on the ends, and then you overlap it, and then you stick it all the way around. And then you put a lot of adhesive on the back side so it doesn't slip or slide, and it doesn't create any air pockets. That's the other reason why you put adhesive. So let me get going on that, and I'll be right back. So I lied. I am back to show you how I'm gonna wrap these covers. I was just trying not to make the video too long, but I figured that I could always fast forward the steps that I'm doing. So you just need to visually see what I'm doing, and the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. So as you can see, I already wrapped my back cover, and I've done one side of my spine. And now I'm gonna quickly show you how I wrap the covers and the spines with my front cover. So that's where I am right now. Okay, there you have it. So I have my front cover, back cover, and my spine all covered with the designer paper. So I'll be back soon with the next step. So I'm back to show how I'm going about creating the spine for the advent calendar. So, all right, here we go. So here's the spine that I have, and it measures 2 3/4 by 11 inches. And this is actually, and I've already wrapped it, and this is actually the piece that's going to show on the inside of the advent calendar. So I need something to connect the spine to the 2 covers. All right, so this is what it's going to look like on the inside. So I need something to connect all these 3 pieces. So what I'm going to use is this piece of cardstock, which is the same piece as this. And this is going to go in the middle like this. And then these flaps is what I'm going to use to connect the front cover and the back cover. So it's going to look something like this. And then on the outside, you're going to see this. This is what's going to be on the spine of the outside. So in order to reinforce the spine, to keep the covers together, I'm going to use this piece of Tyvek. So for those of you who might not know, Tyvek is this kind of material that doesn't rip or tear. I buy these at my local office store, Staples, Office Depot, any one of these. Even I think even Walmart might have them, Target might have them. I'm not sure. But they're Tyvek envelopes, and I buy the letter size ones, and then I just cut them up. And take pieces that, you know, I may need for my project. So this is what I'm going to use to reinforce the spine. So this is going to be the inside part, and I'm going to adhere the Tyvek right here, and that's going to reinforce it so that the covers then don't come off. So that's what I'm going to do now. And then once this is glued onto my spine, this part is going to be adhered right in the middle like that. And then my back cover is going to be adhered right there. And then here's going to be my front cover. And that's how I'm going to create the spine. Well, actually, it's going to go on top. Sorry, wrong way. The covers are going to go underneath these flaps. So it's actually going to be like this. This is actually how I'm going to be adhering everything and putting everything together. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do now. All right, so at this point, I have the front, back cover, and the spine all put together. This is going to be the closure for the advent calendar, and it is just 2 pieces of ribbon that I've already attached to the center of my front and back covers. You have to do this step first before you cover the front and back covers with your designer paper. So in this case, I already have the paper cut out of what I'm going to use for the inside, and it is the matching cardstock for the Nostalgia collection, which this is the Crocodile Smile cardstock, the Spectrum cardstock. So I've already trimmed it down to size, and we already know that the front and back covers are 8.5 by 11. So I just made these about 1/16 of an inch smaller than the front cover. So it has a small border going around. So it's going to look like this. And as you can see here, I added a piece of glitter red washi tape right along the spine here, because I was originally going to leave the white Tyvek showing, but it just looked too bright against the background of my calendar, so I decided to tone it down a bit. So I adhered this red glittery washi tape. So when I adhere the cardstock, it's gonna look this way now. Instead of having the white peek through like it was before, now it's only going to look like this, which I kind of like better. I think I toned it down a little bit so you don't have that two white strips showing on the side. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to adhere the cardstock to my front and back cover, and I'll be right back. A quick update of where I am with my calendar. As you could see, the inside covers, I put the designer paper on my inside covers, so that's done. And I've already finished the right-hand side of the calendar, so all the boxes are adhered and they don't come off. So you could already start seeing the calendar take its shape. So I am now moved on to the left-hand side, and I'm going to start putting the boxes on that side. So just a quick tip on how I'm doing the spacing. For the most part, I kind of eyeballed it, but I did guide myself around the edges with these little spacers. Well, that's what I'm calling them. I'm calling them spacers. I cut these from just plain white cardstock, and they measure 1/2 inch. And what I did was I put them from the bottom all along the bottom, the side, and the top, and with a pencil I very lightly drew a line along the spacers, and that was my starting guides. So it's 1/2 inch in from the edges, and from that 1/2 inch is where I started putting my boxes. And then once I start it and I go sideways, then for the next row I use the same spacers, and I kind of put them like this. And that also serves as my guide as to how far up I should go with my next set of boxes. So then it starts going like this. So basically, once I get the first row done, then I just use this as a guide to keep moving upwards and create the 4 rows. And then in between each row, I use these 1/2 inch spacers, and that's how I kind of was able to make it look even on all sides. All right. So at this point, I'm just gonna finish adhering all my boxes on the left-hand side. I'm gonna put the numbers on them, embellish them, and finish embellishing the cover of the advent calendar, and then I'm just pretty much gonna come back to show you the finished result. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm back to show the finished end result, and here it is. So there's the cover and the view from the top, from the side, bottom, and the back. And this is what I did on the spine. I just added a couple of Christmas themed ribbons and some little bells and a little bit of twine. And that's about it. Kept it pretty simple. And the front has 2 fabric poinsettias and a little mini pine cone. this Christmas spray that I had in my stash, and a couple more little embellishments that I tucked in there. This is a little sticker element from that's actually from the Jingle collection, and added a couple of rhinestones here. And I close the calendar with this red organza ribbon. So it opens like this. Just pull it open. And it opens up like this. And here's the inside. Trying to get everything in there in camera. It's pretty big. So I had these numbers in my stash also that I was able to punch out. They measure 1.5 inches, and I placed them one number on each box with foam tape so that it gives the numbers a little bit of dimension. And I kept it pretty simple. You can decorate a lot more. You can add a lot more little elements here and there if you wanted to, but I kept mine simple. So I have simple things like, I gotta hold this here, like the little ornament, like the little snowflake here, this and this. Like all these are little sticker elements from the paper collection. These are from the Nostalgia collection. All these are from Nostalgia. This, I believe, is from the Nostalgia collection. This I actually cut apart. I fussy cut the Santa image out, and I adhered him to the spine with, again, foam tape. So the Santa does pop up a little. And here's the other side. And they all open up. All the little boxes easily open up. And I did bring some candies that I had left over from Halloween. And these are the kinds of candies that you can put in there. They fit in there. There's a little Babe Ruth. And I put a little Reese Pieces in there. And there you go. And of course, it does stand. You know, that's the neat part about this one. So you can kind of see that from the top there that the calendar stands. And you could display it anywhere. You know, anywhere you want, and it'll look really nice. So, all right, well, I hope some of this, tutorial inspires some of you guys to create your own advent calendar. This was a first for me, and I'm pretty pleased with the end results. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good night.